Hi guys! Welcome back to StarrSoaps channel. How are you today? I'm doing good. My name's MissCrystalStarr, if you didn't know me. I'm the Queen Soaper here at StarrSoaps. Hi, nice to meet you. Today I'm not going to be making soap. What? That's right. Not soap, not today. Today I'm going to be making moisturizer. Now, a lot of you that follow me are not from New Zealand, you're from America, and you don't call it moisturizer, you call it lotion. So just in case you were wondering, what is moisturizer? It's just lotion. And that's what I'm going to be making today. Now, I have saved up a few key ingredients for this lotion that are going to make it extra special. I have rose hydrosol, which is rose water. It's the water left behind when they make rose essential oil. So that's going in. I also have some rose hip infused olive oil, and the rose hips were given to me by some lovely friends who were trimming their rose bushes, and they were like, hey, do you want to use these? And I'm like, I sure do. So I infused them in olive oil, and then I've got this lovely rose hip oil, so that's going into the moisturizer as well. And also I'm going to be adding evening primrose extract that came from brambleberry. That's right, I've got a brambleberry product to put into this moisturizer. How cool is that? It was sent to me by the lovely Jennifer Diamart Olsen. I do hope I'm saying that right, from Gentile Soaps. And yeah, I just have been like scratching my head as to what to use it in, so I'm going to use a little tiny bit in this lovely moisturizer because I think it's like going to be a lovely, beautiful little added bonus thing. So I'm also going to be using cocoa butter and shea butter and sweet almond oil, and this lotion is going to be to die for. So come along with me and I'll show you how to make it. Squee! Okay. Hi guys! Let's get started making this beautiful, delicious, nourishing StarrSoaps moisturizer. First thing we need to do is we need to melt our oils together with our e-wax and our cocoa butter and warm up our water. I'm showing you everything here that I'm using. I've got some Gerani oil there and my German too. That's my preservative, which you need if you're adding water into a product, which we are with this one. There's the evening primrose extract, which I'm very excited to be adding into it. And now we're going to go on hyperspeed while I get some things organized. Now this is floral foam, and it's quite sort of dense. I've like cut some little slits into it, and I'm using it like a stand so that I can fill these fiddly little tubes a little bit more easily. So I really like these little tubes whenever it comes to using the product. You can squeeze out just a little bit and it's a good size to fit into your handbag and all of that. So what I've done is I've just stood up a whole bunch of them into the floral foam, which will make it a lot easier when I go to put my moisturizer in. Now, I don't have a fancy filling container machine thing. I am just going to be doing it with a funnel. So there you go. So I've melted the oils now and mixed that all together, and now I have the job of making sure that my oils and my water are at the same temperature, or about 10 degrees Celsius from each other. So not too hot, not too cold. I've done this before where I added cold water into my oils and it doesn't work very well. Here is my little apparatus that I have created for getting the moisturizer into the little tubes. It is a pipette, as you can see here, where I have trimmed off the back and trimmed off the very fine point as well. And then it fits on, lucky for me, quite well onto my smallest funnel from my set of 3 funnels. And then I can sort of poke that in and it will get quite low down to the bottom of the tube, which allows me to fill it from the bottom up, right? Does that make sense? In the past when I've tried to do this with the funnel alone, the moisturizer gets kind of stuck at the top before it gets down the bottom. This way I make sure the moisturizer starts filling the bottom of the tube and then fills it all the way up to the top, and then you're done. So I also have to make sure that my moisturizer goes into these little tubes pretty quickly because it does thicken as it cools off. So I'm still faffing about here trying to get my oil and my water at the same temperature, and that is taking me a little while.
Feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, StarrSoap. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area.
It looks like I'm about ready to make the magic happen. So I add the water very slowly into the oils and not the other way around while I'm stick blending, and I'm using the lower pulse function on my stick blender. And I'm adding the water in a little at a time, mix, 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 add a little more, and this way I'm getting a nice even consistency and there are no lumps. I think that having everything at the same temperature really helps as well, and definitely mixing as you add your water and just making sure it all comes together and it looks like this beautiful cream, and that's exactly what we're going for. As you can see, my jug is a little small, and as I'm adding my water I realize that I'm only just gonna have enough room to add it all, and I would have been fine if I just left the stick blender out, but instead I decide to move it around and I get a little bit of a spill. Uh-oh. No worries, I can clean that up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my little mess that I've made, and I'm going to pour half of my moisturizer into one jug, or just under half, and half into another, for no other reason than that it will make it easier for me when I'm trying to pour it into my funnel and get it into the little tubes, rather than trying to pour from this extremely full jug. So I'm adding now, while I've got the jug on my scale, the exact amount of preservative that I need, and my essential oil and my evening primrose extract. They're all going in, and I'm giving it a little mix, mix, mix to make sure that all of those are fully incorporated, having a good sniff of it and make sure I'm happy with how it smells, and I really am. It is glorious. So I'm going to go ahead now and do the same to the other jug, mixing and adding all of the extra goodies, and then it will be time to pour.
Feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, StarrSoap. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel.
Here's the moment of truth. And you can see that I've got it at quite a thin consistency to allow me to pour it through the funnel and through that little pipette into my tube, and then stopping just at the right time is difficult as well. There are a couple times where I go over and I spill out over the top of the tube, but hey, you're going to get that as well. I'm actually really excited to have found a way to utilize these tubes, because I had a huge bag of them, and for a while there, over a year, I just could not figure out how to get my moisturizer in there. So I'm really happy to have done that, because the final packaged product looks so professional, and it makes me feel really proud.
Feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, StarrSoap. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, StarrSoaps. StarrSoaps, 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 StarrSoaps. Made with love and the finest ingredients. They make you feel like a queen of the world. When you wash your body, you feel good, and you know that you could be the best that you can be, because you've got the best in bath and body. StarrSoaps, soap, soap. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, 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 StarrSoaps. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, StarrSoaps. StarrSoaps, 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 StarrSoaps. Made with love and the finest ingredients. They make you feel like a queen of the world. When you wash your body, you feel good. And you know that you could be the best that you can be, because you've got the best in bath and body. StarrSoaps, soaps, soaps. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap. If you need love in the driest area, remember the soap that can make you.
So as I mentioned before, as the moisturiser cools off, it starts to thicken up, and that's what's happened here. I still had quite a bit left and I wanted to fill up more tubes, but as you can see, it has become more difficult for me as it has thickened, and it doesn't want to run down through the funnel and through the pipette as easily. It's still happening, but you can see how I'd be here for a long time. And I realised then that, no, it's time for me to stop trying to fill the tubes. I've got a good amount of them full, and I switch out to something a little bit easier to fill, which is just like a wee tub container or something with a lid. And that's how all of my moisturiser used to be packaged, in these little containers with these little clip-on lids or screw-on lids, and they hold the same amount of moisturiser, and the moisturiser is still as beautiful. But I just really like these tubes, and like I say, I had them, I wanted to use them, so this is me finding a way to make it happen. So I'm going ahead now and putting on all the lids on all the tubes and doing a bit of a clean up, and I've got some containers here now. I've got a big one, but I've also got a bunch of little ones, and the idea is that I'm making some samples here. I always love to hand out something to people if they buy, you know, my 4 soaps for $20 deal at a market, or if they place a large order on Trade Me. It's nice to include some little freebies, and you don't necessarily want to give away full-size products, so it is kind of cool to have something like this, a little bit of a tester that you can give out. And I mean, sometimes you just want to give something to somebody, or you might just want to take it with you into your handbag, and you don't want a big full-sized one for that. So this works great for that as well. And I've gifted away all of these samples already, so obviously it was a good idea and I should have made more. But that's alright. So I really do hope that you enjoyed watching me make this moisturiser. I don't think I've made moisturiser videos before, or if I have, they're few and far between. This video was a little bit tricky and a little bit, maybe, I don't know, shame to film, only because you can see my dirty dishes, and we're here at my kitchen bench, which I don't make soaps and things here very much these days. Unless you are a subscriber going right back to 2011, you probably haven't seen this view for a while or at all. So this is my kitchen. And this is just the best place for me to make these. I have access to my microwave and everything I need right here. So that's why I'm also being very careful to keep everything as clean as possible. So yeah, here we've got the final tubes and also the little testers. And you can see how a little container like that white one with the screw lid, that would work just as good and be much easier to fill. But they do both hold the same amount, even though this one looks like it holds more. They both hold 50 grams or 50 mils. So that's interesting. This one holds 30 grams or 30 mils, and the other little samplers hold 10, I do believe. It's about 10 or 15. And I'm showing you here the consistency of the lotion. It is lovely. It is a light lotion that absorbs easily all over your whole body. I really love it. It is not too strongly scented, and it's not that old-fashioned rose. I think something about the rosehip oil, or I'm not too sure, something about it. It's a nice, bright, vibrant rose, and I'm happy with that. So here they are with the labels on, so you can see, and I include exactly everything that's in there. And if you enjoyed watching this video and you want to see more like it, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. Become a member of the StarrSoaps family and feel the soapy love. Until next week, bye guys!
Feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, StarrSoaps. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap if you need love in the driest area. Remember the soap that can make you merrier. StarrSoaps, 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 StarrSoaps. Made with love and the finest ingredients. They make you feel like a queen of the world. When you wash your body, you feel good, and you know that you could be the best that you can be, because you've got the best in bath and body. StarrSoaps, soaps, soaps. You won't find another soap that makes your body feel like StarrSoap. If you need love in the driest area, remember the soap that